This segment is brought to you by Jigmasters. Step up your game with high-quality performance jigs, spinner baits, buzz baits, and more from jigmasters.com. And always, when in doubt, get the jig out.
You're tuned in to Off the Water. I'm your host, JP. This is the premier source for all things to do after a long day of fishing. Chill out, grab a cold one, and let's go explore what there is to do off the water. What is up, everybody? I'm your host, JP, and tonight I have a special guest, and that's myself. Actually tonight, so I'm doing a two-part segment for the next, for these next episodes coming up. I'm leaving Sunday for Lake Guntersville in Alabama. So today on this episode, we're going to talk about where on Lake Guntersville I'm going to be fishing and what I'm going to be checking out while I'm off the water. And then we're going to have a follow-up episode to this on the next episode about how the trip went. So let's kick it off. All right, first and foremost, I'm leaving Sunday and I'm driving from Chicago to I'm staying in Scottsboro. So roughly a 9-hour trip just outside of Chattanooga, Tennessee, 1 hour just outside of there. So kind of Scottsboro is where my home base, kind of middle of the road for everything. I could go one way or another when making my decisions on, where I wanted to be. So it's pretty centered to everything on Lake Guntersville. So 21st is a travel day, kind of just going to get down there, get settled into the cabin I'm at, and just kind of get stuff prepared. But the 22nd through the 25th is going to be non-stop fishing, and I am so excited. I've been shoveling out snow all day. I'm done with winter. I'm done with negative digits for temperatures. So it's time, and it's furlough, and this is kind of my my revenge, if you will, for not being able to make the national championship 2 times last year. So going on my own, and my whole pursuit is a monster bass. Given the conditions that are playing out right now across the country, I have my work cut out for me, and we're going to discuss going over some lures and tactics that I'm going to be using as well. But first, let's start off by going and looking at Guntersville itself. So I'm going to share my screen up here, and we're going to go on to Google Earth, because everybody loves Google Earth. All right, so wonderful Google Earth. We are here. We're overlooking. Let's zoom out real quick, a little more. So there's a big overview of Lake Guntersville itself. It's 75 miles of shoreline. So there's some areas I'm going to focus in on where I'm going to be fishing. And it's no secret, I'm not in a tournament. I'm not, this is for me, for some R&R, some relaxation and getaway, and kind of decompress and get, kick off the fishing season. And our good buddy over on the Reel Down, Jimmy Skinner, he's going to be meeting me out here too. So can't wait to get on the water with him. He was my Secret Santa. So, but the first spot where I'm really wanting to check out is going to be here. And this is going to be what's known as Browns Creek. And Browns Creek, from where, it looks like I would want to start. So there it is. It's labeled up there. But the launch is going to be right here. This is the JC's launch right here. So we're going to be launching here and fishing pretty much all that riprap, and all the way going down. And if you follow course, it's about a 7-mile trip from around here, going back to the other side of the lake and back up and around. So there's quite a bit of structure to cover, but right now, it's definitely the fish are going to be kind of messed up right now with, the weather, but it still should be pre-spawn or moving up to those pre-spawn areas. It's just a matter of finding them. So I'm all game about it. So the next spot, we're going to zoom out and we're going to move on over. And I don't have any particular day. These are just, one day I'm going to do here, one day I'm going to do there. But the next spot that I feel is going to be quite productive, I think I'm in the right spot. Hang on. Yep, this is it right here. So you can see in the right-hand corner, Town Creek. So let's zoom in a little bit. So on Town Creek, you have the launch right here. And this is kind of twofold in it. So obviously the creek runs down this way and ends, but this creek also runs far back. And we're going to show you here on Google Map just how far back this thing runs. So it bends, comes back. And if you look at this on Navionics, I mean, it's still being marked. You got another creek that flows in, but it's marked pretty much all the way back to where these rapids are right here, or shallow points. So this creek goes quite a ways back. And obviously I'm going to paddle up and float back over to the main lake. But then what's nice about the main lake is if you look back down this way, a lot of points. There's some offshore structure here. Coming back, you got a huge bed that runs back here, or a flat that runs back here that be used for spawning that drops off. So it's right next to that deeper water. So that in itself looks just juice. And fishing all this all the way back out to the main lake. So that's going to be one day right there. Now I'm going to zoom out and move over to the next area where I plan on fishing. So we're going to go to where I'm actually staying in that area. So I told you I stay in Scottsboro. I'm actually staying within Saltree Creek, I believe it's called, or North Saltree Creek. Might be the correct term. It comes up as a couple different things, but where it's at is right here. So we're looking at it from two spots. And I might break this day up into two because there's two different ramps, and it's actually on the map. It doesn't look like much, but looking after doing the measurements, there's quite a bit of water to cover. So zooming in, so here's the launch right here, and we're going to fish all the way back up into here. All these little pockets and bends where you have shallow water, but then you got holes, right? And then you got creeks feeding in. This looks like it could work some potential. And then you come back around, the other side of the launch, work this way. These are some nice little pockets over here, nice little spawning flats back this way, right? Work your way down a dry cove. Again, on the map, it doesn't look like much, but that's still, once you're said and done, that's about 4 or 5 miles covered. Now, the other place going down, actually, I don't know if it comes up right here. My campsite's right in this area, or my cabin, I should say. But then coming back down, there's a public launch back this way, and you could fish back into this part of the creek, right alongside the golf course and stuff like that. So this might be a 2-dayer right here, or I'm sorry, a 2-part in one day. So definitely going to check that out quite a bit. There's a lot of nooks and crannies to this lake, and there's so much water to cover in so little time. So I'm kind of breaking it down to pick and choose what I want to really do and what I really want to look at. So now moving next, is going to be Dry Creek and the Jackson County boat launch. So right over this way. We're not going too far from home base. Now, the reason why this is kind of broken up in two, let me kind of jot back this way again. Hold on. Let's go back to 3D view. And let's go back down. Sorry about that. Okay, so we're going to zoom in this way. Now, you can see here, let's move this over. So you have, right here is Jackson County Public Launch, all right? That's going to get me back all the way up this way, going back north northwest or northeast, all the way back into these pockets here in Dry Creek. Now, same situation. Flats, spawning flats, deeper water right there, structure around the bridge. Cool. But coming back this way, and we're talking about the other, the day before, or wherever, trying to fish on the other side where this golf course is, you're not going to be able to do it actually because, and correct me if I'm wrong, but right here, this dries up and is impassable. So you had to get it from a launch on this side. So we'll try to cover all this water here as well. So that's Dry Creek one day. And now I got some alternatives up my sleeve that I checked out. And this one's kind of a known fact. If one doesn't work on one day, or if I fished it and nothing's, it doesn't produce, the next one I'm going to fish is one of the most infamous bridges on Lake Guntersville. You always see everybody fishing it, but here's the Marshall County Park. It's a public launch right here. Launch out of here, come back, fish all this around that bridge, back to the barges over here that's in actual Guntersville, fish around on the other side of Browns Creek, and kind of just hit this pocket as an alternative. And it does look juice. I mean, it looks really good. I'm not denying it at all. It might be an alternative to one of the days if I, feel like changing it up. So that's pretty much where I'm going to be fishing. Again, Guntersville, 75 miles of just main lake. That doesn't even cover all the nooks and crannies and creeks that run through here. So I hope that gives you guys somewhat of an idea where I'm looking to fish. So let me stop sharing the screen real quick. All right. So now let's talk tactics. All right. I haven't looked at the forecast. I've been looking at it every night, and I haven't looked at it yet today. But it's still showing that we're going to be in the low to mid 60s for a high every day, which is going to create a warming trend from the weather that's down there right now. Right now, you're talking you're in the 30s, 20s. So that warming trend is going to turn that bite on. I mean, I have no reason not to be excited because it's like, whoa, hey, you're coming down right when everything's starting to kick off. At least that's without anticipation. So let's talk tactics. Now, unfortunately, I don't have everything that I want to throw today, with me. Just some stuff's in another area, some stuff's here. But what I do have here are definitely going to be two that are tied on, or a few things that are going to be tied on. So, first thing I want to show is right here. Everybody knows what this is. Yep, that is the Fire Crawl jackhammer. All right. So, Guntersville is weed. This is this is the craw is supposed to be the hot color to be throwing, right now based upon everything that's going on. So the hot craw color is definitely, on the list. But the other thing I'm excited to throw, and if you watched any of my Instagram live feeds, I talked about this. This is here we go. This is the one that Mr. Jimmy Skinner had given me as Secret Santa gift. This is the Banger. Yes, Banger chatterbaits. And Spanker Jigs is the other one. But this color too, this chatterbait looks like it's going to be money as well. So I got my two chatterbaits ready to go for down there. Now we're talking about jigs, and I want to show this Spanker jig that Mr. Jimmy Skinner, again Secret Santa, has given me. And this one right here. This is the Guntersville Special, or Gville Special. I'm definitely going to have this guy tied on. I got the perfect matching trailer to go with it. And, just using the swim jig around those isolated piles out there could produce, man. It very much can. So I have that rigged up, ready to go. And then I got a whole assortment of jigs on standby for this. So, can't really go underprepared. Next thing I have ready to throw, again, like they say, the big bass equal, if you're going to catch a big bass, use big lure, right? Well, there's some truth to that, but what I'm excited about, this is the 10,000 fish. Now, again, another one, if you watch the Instagram live, 10,000 fish. This is the headhunter. All right. Realistic, looking like a bluegill. I mean, this almost reminds me of the pattern of a dark sleeper, except they made it for bluegill form. I mean, those colors are true. And then I have a smaller version of it right over here. Again, this is electric bluegill color. Still, the colors are great on this, but this guy right here is 1 ounce. I mean, for 1 ounce, doesn't look that big, but yeah, it looks like it's going to be money. So this guy is definitely going to be tied on, throwing it around, a bunch of different structure, run it, around those isolated pads as well, as around the rocks too. And speaking of rocks, the next thing that I might as well just pull up the whole thing, but depending on the color, and what's going on when I get down there with the water clarity, colder water. But again, looking at it, we got flat-sided squarebill. This one's from Bagley. That fire crawl color. Other one that I'm going to be banging around down there too is the little micro from Rapala. This is the squarebill that they have, and it is very much in that red crawl color, balsa wood. So got that more floating, sustained action. And again, depending on the colors, conditions are going to dictate. I have a whole tray full ready to go of just square bills. So, yeah, those are ready to go. So, next thing that we got going to have tied on for sure is if the water conditions are stained or dirty, we got the Z-Man slings. Yeah. So we got that ready to go. But also, I always have a trick up my sleeve. I'm also going to have tied on, ready to go as well. Where'd he go? There he is. This is the Accent Jacob Wheeler. So again, stained water. If that water's stained or a little bit murky, I'm going to have this bad boy tied on, ready to go. So, a little spinnerbait action that's going to be ready. All right. And if we have to, I got the ability to switch it up. Good old jerk baits. Full assortment of them. So, jerk baits are on deck, ready. But the other thing that I don't have tied on, or that I don't have with me that's going to be tied on, is the all infamous rattle trap and red eye shads. I have a box that's back at in the kayak right now, ready for it to be tied on as well. Now, some people might be going, well, what about topwater, and what about Guntersville? It's a frog lake, True. I'm not down on that. But you got to remember, too, that water temperature, the last time I checked, was in the mid-40s, and it's probably dropped with the weather they had. So unless it's 55 or above on the water temperature, not really going to be throwing top water. That's my take. I know some people, choose differently. I'm going with what I know works with the conditions that are right now. Again, pre-spawn, the bass are going to be moving up. They'll still, there's a possibility they may be deep. I'm not going to know until I get down there. In all honesty, it's going to take a day or two to figure it out. So, it's going to be a lot of trial and error. Another thing that I'm going to have tied on or another tie on that I'm going to have is an A-rig. If that bite allows for it. Again, won't know till I'm down there. So, but those are the ones I'm kind of excited to throw. I know that they are known to produce and should produce, and that's the excitement, man. But I'm looking to get that 8 to 10 pound plus largemouth. That's all that's on my mind right now, man. I that bass. If I catch one that big, I might stop fishing. I have nothing to fish for again. I'm kidding. That's never going to happen. But I definitely, you'll see it behind me on that wall. I will get it mounted. I will take pictures and get a replica, but and release for another angler to catch. But definitely many pictures for the detail on that skin. So super excited about it. Can't wait. Been looking forward to this for almost a year and a half now. So it's happening. So, all right. We all know what's going on the water. Now it's time about off the water. So, first off, cheers to everybody. All right. If you're curious what I'm drinking, it's called Jammin' These Nuts. It's by Wild Rose Brewing in Griffin, Indiana. Look them up. Yes, it's called Jammin' These Nuts. It tastes like peanut butter and jelly. It's a stout. And it's stout because it's like -1 outside right now. And I just got done digging out my entire parking lot. So, yeah, there's that. But, all right, off the water. So, I'm going to break this down the way I normally break down with all my segments. So, breweries. So there's 2 breweries that I found. And guys, please reach out to me. You see that Instagram link for at 4-Star Fishing. Message me. If you're friends with me on Facebook, tell me if I'm missing something or if there's any recommendations in addition to what I'm looking at. Because I know Dan Perry, shout out to Dan Perry and Jimmy Skinner for giving me some good recommendations as well. And I'll bring those up too. So breweries though. So there are 2 that I found that are kind of opposite ends of the lake, being in the middle in Scottsboro. It's kind of, one's a 45-minute drive one way, one's a 35-minute drive. So kind of pick and choose which ones to go to, one or the other. But the first one that I saw was Main Channel Brewing in Guntersville itself. So took a look at it on Untapped. Pretty decent. Looks like they have their fair share of brews there. So definitely going to be stopping and checking them out. And the other one is Top of the Rock Brewery. Yeah, Top of the Rock Brewery. And all right, same deal, but that one's kind of settled up. And I believe it's actually in Tennessee, right on the border of Alabama and Tennessee over there. So, definitely going to check those 2 out for sure. So vineyards, no wine vineyards. Sorry. Distilleries though. Interesting enough, the Jack Daniel's distillery is 1 hour away from where I'm at. And I think on my way home, I will be making a second stop because I've already been there, but seeing it again and seeing how, it's been updated since I'm in the area. So nice little way to break up the trip. But let's get into it, man. Restaurants. So, all right. The way I have this broken down and the way I'm going to kind of go off, and I got to pull up Jimmy's and Dan Perry's recommendations as well. So let me get those pulled up, and we'll actually start with theirs since it's already there. So Dan, yeah, this is a recommendation from DP, and Dan Perry suggested Papa Dubai's Cajun Kitchen in Guntersville. I looked at their menu and it looks outstanding. I mean, whew. You have boom boom, appetizers, boom boom shrimp, crab cakes, crab claws, boneless chicken wings, but everything's Cajun style. They got po' boys. They have everything up to a pick 7 sampler. So I mean, yeah, it's quite the array there. So that looks delicious. And then another recommendation was Wentzel's Oyster House in Garnersville as well. That was oysters, Rockefeller, man. I can't wait to get down and go shuck some. Those recommendations came from Dan Perry, and then Jamie Skinner had also suggested. Ooh, I thought I saved it, but it's I actually know it's on dry, or is it? Might be Dry Creek Barbecue. I'll have to double check it. I do have it written down somewhere, but yeah, those recommendations came in, and definitely going to check those out. So stuff that I researched online that I'm looking to check out within the Scottsboro area. You got Holy Smokes Barbecue, Tate's Barbecue, Toros, which is a cantina, which I'm thinking Taco Tuesday cantina. Yeah, that's going to go hand in hand together. And then I had Top of the Rock under there because they also have food as well. So definitely going to check those out. And then when it comes to Guntersville, so the few that I found were Cafe 336 for lunch, the Brick, Old Town Steakhouse. Yeah, so that one looked pretty well. It was kind of weird how their hours were posted. Same with the other one here, Rock House Eatery. They have some weird hours, so like they kind of have a break between lunch and dinner. So I think those are reservations as well. Moe's Original Barbecue looked as like a sure deal there. Sunset Bar and Grill, and I some people have said their opinions about it. It looks like a pretty popular place. Top of the river. We'll see. But I have all these listed here as potential eats to check out while I'm down there. And I'm pretty excited about all of it. So, that's pretty good. Looking forward to that if you ask me. But moving on, other things in the area and other area attractions. So, with this being around Chattanooga, only an hour outside of it, I have been to Chattanooga with Olivia, my now fiance, officially announced on the show. So yes, we are engaged. And but when we were dating, it's crazy to say when we were dating, but we went down to Chattanooga, and there's an awesome place called Ruby Falls and Lookout Mountain, and that's kind of so where Chattanooga is. Chattanooga is kind of like a tri-state because you have Alabama on the southwest side, and then you have Georgia on the southeast side, and where these all meet together kind of come in one spot. And you could see, I think it's called, you can see 6 different states, and it's Tennessee, Alabama, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Kentucky, as well as Georgia, from one spot looking outward. So it's a pretty cool sight to see. And walking through their mystical garden is quite fun. So something to consider that's out there. If I have time, maybe, but definitely would stop back. But that was a cool little spot out there. And then Chattanooga itself is a whole animal to explore. But when we were down there, we did walk the bridge to North Chattanooga. The park was awesome. Going over Tennessee River, and then one of the actual places where Lake Chickamauga got its name was the Battle of Chickamauga, and the battleground that's there from the National Park Service. It's an awesome site to check out, and it's an awesome view of Chattanooga itself. So, if I have the time, I'm gonna definitely stop and check it out. But moving forward, other area attractions. So, here's the thing: it's Lake Guntersville. That's what it's known for. It's known for fishing, water sport, and camping recreation. You're kind of secluded. Huntsville is an hour to the northwest, and then you have Chattanooga, and then you're, I think, 2.5 hours away from Atlanta for your next true major metropolitan area. So you're kind of in the middle of nowhere. But again, I'm not local to it. I'm going down there to have fun and explore down there because, again, never been to Lake Guntersville itself, but to that area of Chattanooga. So I'm excited to see what comes of it. That's that's the bottom line. And again, this is much needed. With COVID and now having all the proper steps required and being able to travel without worry now, and still doing what I got to do. This is awesome. This is the first long-awaited trip, and so just a little preview to the next episode. Definitely going to be doing a review of the trip. So like I said, I leave this Sunday, the 21st, and then I'm coming home the 26th. So I will, and plus, watch on my Instagram, watch on my feeds. I will be posting so much. So you're not gonna pretty much this whole journey is gonna be documented. So you're not gonna miss a thing. But then my next episode, we're gonna go over how this trip went and the ins and outs of it, and we'll go back to the stuff that that I think is gonna be good and see how it all fared out. So just want to take a moment to thank you guys, the listeners, for tuning in, listening to what I had to say about this trip. And I want to let you guys know that the Paddle and Fin Trail Series fishing tournaments are going to be in full swing. Look out on our social media pages. It's up on Tourney X now. The Dale Hollow opens there. Everything is set to go. And this is going to be awesome. Again, as an angler, all right, there's no club fees you have to pay. There's no membership club fees. Everything is going to be covered live. So just like we're streaming right now, all our listeners, if you watched how we did the bracket of champions, it's going to be live coverage. It's going to be like Bass and MLF. So you don't want to miss that. And again, 100% cash payout. I can't stress that enough. What you put in and what's put in there is paid out to you, the angler. And that gets you, if you win the cash, move on to the championship. And if you guys are, I'll list them out right now for you, all our stops. We got Dale Hollow. We have Tiffany, Indiana. The Coldwater, which we're partnering with the Top Water Series kayak clubs. So you got, dude, West Michigan is a mecca for fishing. There, it is awesome. We're gonna do Madison Chain of Lakes, bro. Madison Chain of Lakes. Look, come on. At Lake Mendota, Lake Monona, Lake wow. So I mean, there's so much TV that I brought from there on Lake Mendota. It's an awesome spot. So definitely that. We're gonna go over to jog over to Ohio and fish on the on Lake Erie over there. I mean, yes, but for the hook and some big walleye too. Yeah, we'll swing it over us for our championship. Prime fishing waters. So get on it, get signed up, get out. No questions asked. It's that simple. It's easy. So if you have any questions, you can contact myself or any of our members at the Paddle and Fin crew. But just want to say shout out to our show, Rocktown Adventures, Jig Magic. Guys have been awesome in supporting us. And then for the show itself, Old Town Canoe and Kayaks, Wicked Rates, TRC Rod Colors. Guys, go check out Bell's Brewing. They're Michigan-based. Awesome beer. Hot comes out right now. If you go on Untappd, that is the nation's trending beer. So definitely give it a check and peep them. And then you guys, the listeners, for making this all possible. So just want to say again, and follow the social. If you haven't already, the series. All right, you guys, awesome. Thanks for hanging out with me, and see you next time off the water. Peace.
Thanks for tuning in to another killer episode on Paddle and Fin. Don't forget to go check out our website at paddle_and_fin.com. Don't forget to check out the YouTube channel at Paddle and Fin. If you got a question, comment, want to hear from a future guest on a future episode, feel free to email us at paddle_and_fin@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on social media at Paddle and Fin on Facebook and Instagram. Shout out to our show supporters, Angler. The Angler button and app just makes for a better time on the water and creates a virtual logbook for every fishing outing out on the water. Shout out to Rocktown Adventures, located in Northern Illinois, for all your kayaking, camping, and hiking needs. Shout out to Jig Masters Jigs. When in doubt, get the jig out. Go to jigmasters.com.